Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, YouTube.com/Aaron Rift NoDQ. Very weird edition of Monday Night Raw tonight. I'll say that much. It was quite the spectacle. Let's go ahead and talk about it. A lot of things happening. We have Fastlane this coming Sunday, the final stop on the road to WrestleMania 35. We do have WrestleMania coming up, of course, 34 days, whatever it is. This show was right out of the Twilight Zone. I feel like I was watching WCW 2000 for most of this episode of Raw. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? You guys will have to make that decision. I'm sure some of you are already coming up with your own opinions on this show. Maybe you thought it was great. Maybe you thought it was the worst thing you've ever seen. What did I think? Let's go ahead and break it down. So Raw kicked off with the big dog, Roman Reigns. There was a recap shown of everything that happened last week. Reigns' promo and the end of Raw with Reigns and Seth Rollins coming out and trying to help out Dean Ambrose. This episode of Raw was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. For those of you that remember, Roman Reigns got booed heavily in Philadelphia for the Royal Rumble several years ago. But on this night, the crowd was very much into Roman. They were loudly chanting Roman. Roman talked about how last week it was all about his comeback. This week it was about taking his yard back. He said that one man was standing in his way, and that man was Seth Rollins. He told Rollins to come out. Rollins did. The two of them hugged. Rollins talked about how he is going to slay the beast at WrestleMania. But he understands why Roman Reigns brought him out, because Reigns had to forfeit the Universal title, and Rollins knows what it's like to have to forfeit a title without actually losing the title. But Reigns said, no, it's not about the Universal title. Instead, Reigns said that it's about getting the band back together for one more match. Despite what Dean Ambrose did to Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, I guess, is still cool with Dean Ambrose and wants to have a final Shield match. Have them team up together one last time. At first, Seth Rollins was like, no. Seth Rollins was not cool with this. He said he would do anything for Roman, but not this. The crowd booed Seth Rollins. They chanted for the Shield. Roman talked about how the cancer and everything that happened with him made him realize that tomorrow's not a guarantee, and that there are more important things in life like relationships, and he considers the Shield members to be his brothers. At this point, Rollins agreed with Reigns and said that life is in fact too short, and for Roman, he's in. He's going to be part of this Shield reunion and put aside everything that happened between him and Seth Rollins. So at this point, Roman asked for Dean Ambrose to come out. Ambrose came out. He got on the mic. He was about to say something, and then a guitar to the back, courtesy of Elias. Roman and Seth ran down to check on Dean, and Dean got up and walked off, and they were just scratching their heads about the whole thing. And that was the beginning of Raw. Power Packers 90 with a $2 super chat says, hi Aaron, nice shirt. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it, you numbskull. No, just playing with you, Power Packers 90. Thank you. The numbskulls are the people on Twitter, and I'll get to that in a few minutes here. Oh, believe me, I got something to say to some of these Twitter people that like to comment on my content without actually watching the content. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be good. The Relaxing Noob with a $5 super chat time says, Triple H always gets a big Mania match, the king at playing politics. I'll get to that here in a few minutes. Don't worry, I will. And thank you very much for that super chat. Caleb Jacobs with a $3.20 super chat donation says, is Elias going to be the one to take Dean Ambrose out? Out of WWE? That I don't know about. But again, I'll talk more about that here in a few minutes. I will definitely discuss the situation with Dean Ambrose. Got one here from Donald. $2 super chat says, when are the no DQ do-rags coming out? Well, I wasn't sure there was a huge demand for no DQ do-rags, but if you guys really want one, then maybe I will put them into production. But in the meantime, I do have some no DQ pens still available. So if you would like one for $3 or 5 for $10, email me nodqmisc@gmail.com. Buy a pen, as Noah says. So we had Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, and Bob the Lash, the Dogs of War, or whatever we want to call them, Corbin's team, had an interview about the Shield. Drew stated that he broke the Shield months ago and they're pathetic. They're individuals living in the past. This sounds like a Triple H diss or something. I would say that this is more of a shot at Triple H, talking about somebody living in the past, trying to recreate his past storylines, but whatever. There was a 6-man tag team match. By the way, this was really strange. Okay, so I don't remember the last time this happened, and maybe you guys know. Maybe you guys can help me out here. When was the last time we had a babyface come out, and then the heels came out, and then another babyface came out for a match? I don't remember the last time this happened. I'm not sure if it's even happened before. So we had Mike B with a $2 super chat saying no DQ hoodies, question mark. Ask Pro Wrestling Tease about that one at 1 Hour Tease. Right now they don't do hoodies for anybody except for the wrestlers, but maybe they'll expand to doing hoodies for the websites and podcasts and all that stuff. So if you're interested in a no DQ hoodie, message at 1 Hour Tease and say, how about a no DQ hoodie? Maybe if there's enough demand, they'll start doing it. So basically we had Finn Balor come out, opening match of Raw, which seems to be his usual spot. Back to his usual spot. Finn Balor came out, and then we had the commercial. When we came back from the commercial, we had Kurt Angle already in the ring, so Kurt got no entrance. And then we had the heels making their entrance. And then we had Braun Strowman, who was on the babyface team, making his entrance. So yeah, this was quite bizarre. First time I could recall this happening, but again, maybe it did and I just missed it. So we had the 6-man match. Lio Rush got involved more than once in the match. Baron Corbin got power slammed by Strowman, and then Finn hit the coup de grace, but then Lio Rush grabbed Balor to break up the pin. Then we had Strowman bum rush Lio Rush through the barricade, and then we had Bobby Lashley spear Finn Balor to pick up the victory for his team. After the match, the babyfaces got beat up even more. Kurt Angle got thrown into the steel steps, and then Balor got chokeslammed by, I believe it was Lashley and McIntyre on the steel steps. Got this question or comment here from David, $2 super chat. Thank you for that, David. Are they overdoing the Shield reunions? Well, if Dean Ambrose is leaving the company, and I'll get to this here in a few minutes, if Dean's leaving, yeah, they better get one more under their belt before it's too late. Last time ever, Shield reunion. Yeah, it feels like we've had more Shield reunions than NWO reunions. It's getting quite over the top now. All right, so next up we had Heavy Machinery interviewed. They were shown footage from earlier in the day where we had all the mid-card, lower-card tag teams arguing about Heavy Machinery, making fun of them. Ascension was leading the pack here, just trying to come up with insults for them, referring to Otis as the dumbbell. Hassan with a $2 super chat says, thoughts on the leaked WrestleMania 35 card? Well, thank you for going off topic, but thank you for the super chat. I'll talk about the WrestleMania 35 card later. You know, anything can change between now and a couple weeks from now. I'm sure probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks we're gonna know what the full card is anyways. But yeah, I don't have any comment on the rumored WrestleMania card. And by the way, I didn't know there was like an official leaked one or a so-called leaked WrestleMania card. I just know, I don't know if you're talking about what I posted on NoDQ, which was a rumored WrestleMania card, but that is not a leaked WrestleMania card. Maybe you're talking about a leaked card. That I haven't seen, and it could be fake for that matter as well. So anyways, back to the Heavy Machinery promo. Otis said that hurt his feelings, and Tucker basically said they were going to take care of things, and that was the promo. So then we had Natalya versus Ruby Riott. Ruby didn't even really get an entrance. Natalya won very quickly with a roll-up. The Riotts tried to run in and attack her, but she quickly escaped. And then we had all of a sudden the random appearance of Lacey Evans. She walked down to the ring, walked back, her usual shtick, and that was that. Mike B with a $5 super chat says, almost as many Shield reunions than Big Show face and heel turns. Not quite as many. Still a ways to go. They're getting there though. But yeah, you got about 20 more Shield reunions before you catch up to the Big Show. Let's be real here. Funny comment though. Thank you for that, Mike B. People are saying, well, Ruby Riott's getting buried now, and it is what it is. Ruby Riott, the Riott Squad, they're basically enhancement talent. They're there to put over the bigger stars. So yeah, Ruby Riott, she got that title match, but that was just filler. That's all it was, and nothing more. So for those of you that want to see the Riotts get pushed, not going to happen. They're there to put over women that are being pushed stronger, women that are higher up the totem pole in WWE. So then we had a recap of Triple H and Batista. Triple H came out for his promo, which I'll get to here in a second. So Stephanie McMahon was backstage with these guys from Saturday Night Live, and I don't know their names, so I'm just going to refer to them as White Guy and Black Guy. They are going to be the special guest correspondents for WrestleMania. WrestleMania already goes down a letter grade for me, because if what we saw tonight was any indication, this is going to be terrible. I am just dreading seeing these guys on my television screen again. So I hope WWE just cancels these guys, because the stuff with them on tonight's show was pure cringe. Not funny, not entertaining, didn't do anything for anybody, and I'll get to that more here in a few minutes. I definitely need to rant about this. But yeah, if these guys have any presence on WrestleMania, the show's getting an automatic letter grade down, just one letter grade down. It just frustrates me. I'm frustrated with these guys. It's like we had these guest hosts on Raw. Most of them were terrible. So why bring this back? Why even have these guys? I don't even know who they are. I mean, granted, I haven't watched Saturday Night Live since Mr. Bill was on, but still, I mean, these guys, they're comedians. I couldn't have guessed it watching them on this show. I'll get to it more. I got more to say about it, but let's move on here to the Triple H segment. This one was interesting. Okay, so footage was shown from a Batista Instagram video. Caitlyn says that her mom finds them funny on Saturday Night Live. Well, Apparently someone does, and I guess I'm showing my age that I have no idea who these guys are. Or maybe because I made the Mr. Bill comment. I mean, that was like the 1970s, and I was born in 82, so yeah. There are two funny things from Saturday Night Live, Mr. Bill and the cowbell segment. Everything else is kind of like to me. So we had Batista's Instagram video shown where he said he wasn't going to be there on Raw because he doesn't like Philadelphia and he just didn't want to be there. And he said maybe he'll show up in Pittsburgh to confront Triple H. He said that they're going to play the game by his rules. Anyways, Triple H did his promo to set up this match with Batista for WrestleMania. He was getting choked up. He said that he wasn't there for Ric Flair. He was there for Richard Fleer. Of course, that's Ric Flair's real name. So you know they mean business now. When they start dropping real names, I mean, this is right after the Vince Russo playbook, where once you start mentioning their real names, this is how you know it's real. It's not a script anymore. It's real when you start mentioning the real names. So Triple H started getting choked up because when Flair, or should I say Fleer, was sick, almost on the verge of death, Triple H kept thinking he was going to get that phone call that his good buddy was gone. Very morbid promo here. The Relaxing Noob with a $2 super chat says, Triple H, ugh, the King of Kings, ugh, love Batista. Triple H said that he wanted to bring out the Nature Boy, let the Nature Boy do his thing one more time for his 70th birthday. But that didn't happen because of that piece of, and then there was that pause. And of course, everybody in the crowd is like, shit. He said that it's no secret that Dave Batista has been campaigning for a match. He's been crying about a match with Triple H for the past 2 years. So, of course, you have to be actually following all that stuff that Batista has been saying to know what the hell Triple H was talking about here. And then he said that Batista's doing Bad Guy 101 because he's talking about not wanting to be in Philadelphia. So I guess everybody on Raw does Bad Guy 101, whether it's Elias or Dean Ambrose when he was a heel. So yeah. This was straight out of August 2000 WCW. He said that he would invite Batista to his house. They could go wherever. They could fight anywhere they want. He just said, have some balls. Show up. And then he said, you're not going to be facing the character Triple H, but instead you're going to be facing the man Triple H or Paul Levesque, whatever. And then he finished the promo by saying, you want my attention? You got it. So yeah, this was interesting. I mean, Triple H's delivery was really good, but this was like so Vince Russo. And I mean, it felt like that New Blood Rising promo where they're like, everything else you've seen is fake, but this is real. Curtis Butler with a $2 super chat donation says, you let small stuff get to you, calm down. You know what? Screw you, Curtis Butler. I'm not going to calm down. This is my live stream, and I'm going to review the shows, and I'm going to call it like I see it, damn it. I'm not here to kiss WWE's ass, and I'm not here to just unfairly bash WWE. If something's good, I'm going to call it good. If something's bad, I'm going to call it bad. And that's the bottom line. And if you don't like it, you can kiss my white butt. And Tony H here with a $2 super chat says, Batista doing a one-off match is lame stuff. I agree, Tony H. This match, to me, is boring. The WrestleMania 21 match was okay. Yeah, it made Batista a star. Yeah, Batista's return got 8 million views. Doesn't mean that I want to see this match. It's nostalgia. Batista was gone for a long time. He came back. Of course, it's going to get a lot of older fans tuning in, wondering what's going on. But does that mean we really want to see a 50-year-old retired, pretty much retired guy who last time he wrestled, he tore his pectoral muscle versus a 49-year-old man who has not actively wrestled in 5 years. Why do we want to see this, guys, other than nostalgia? Just pure nostalgia. Is that the only reason? And you guys are like, give it time. You got to give it time. You're judging it too quickly. Go back and watch Crown Jewel. Go back and watch Super Showdown when Triple H could not even do a back body drop spot correctly. For crying out loud, guys, are you that blind with your fandom that you can't see that this is garbage? The Relaxing Noob with a $5 super chat. I got to get to the super chats. I'm on rant mode here. Batista should face Lesnar. Batista versus anybody would be more interesting because it's something we haven't seen before. Yeah, I know Batista wants this match, but just because he wants it doesn't mean the rest of the world wants it. I feel like people want to see something new. Historically in wrestling, people want to see something new. Why did WCW die? Because they gave us Hogan and Flair over and over again. Instead of pushing the new guys, they focused on Hogan and Flair. And WCW died. WWE's not going to die, but it's the same thing. It's the same BS that WCW did. Future Shocker 16 with a $2 super chat says, whoa, calm down, cowboy, cutting promos on us. Not necessarily you. It's mainly Curtis Butler and the people on Twitter that feel like they have to talk shit without actually watching the video. It's not that hard, guys. It literally takes a couple minutes of your time. And I'm not just spouting out garbage, you know? I'm giving you an honest opinion as somebody who's been covering WWE for 20 years plus. I'm giving you my opinion on this based off of things I've seen before. Josh Mansfield with a $2 super chat says, Aaron is Vince Russo's greatest publicity. I wouldn't mind Russo coming back just because it would be entertaining, but it would be counterproductive. It really would be. All right, enough of that promo. Caleb Jacobs with a $5 super chat says, there's no second company for them to listen to us. Well, there's AEW, but we don't know what they can do. We don't know what they're capable of. I'm not one of those people that is just on AEW's nuts. They got to prove themselves. One show isn't enough. 2 shows, it's not enough. They got to be able to have a consistent track record week after week after week before they can be a legitimate second company. So they have a ways to go. You know, they are a glorified t-shirt company. They've had one show. They're, granted for them, they sold out the second show. They have a lot of hype, but they have to be consistent, and it's going to be a process. It's not going to happen overnight. So let's see here. Let me get to the rest of these. Curtis Butler with a $2 super chat says, let the hate flow through you. I love it. The Relaxing Noob with a $2 super chat says, Batista versus Sin Cara in a Who Botches first match. Here's the thing, too. I want to add this before I move on here. This is rant mode tonight. Oh, wait. Let me get to this. Future Shocker 16 with a $2 super chat. When was the last Much Watch Raw this normal now? That I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, Future Shocker 16. What do you guys think in the chat room? Okay, so let me add this. I don't hate Triple H. I don't hate Batista. I like Batista when he's a heel character. I think he's great. I think Triple H has gotten a bad rap over the years for being a guy that just politicked his way to the top. Triple H busted his ass. I give him credit where credit is due. He did those friggin' hog pen matches in 1995 to pay his dues. He was jobbing out to people in 96. He lost his King of the Ring push. This all happened pre-Stephanie. He got his first WWE title pre-Stephanie. So I'm not bashing the guy. I think Triple H earned everything he has in wrestling. He earned his spot. But at some point, you have to retire. At some point, you got to say enough is enough. And if you really care about your talent, you give them the opportunity. Do we really need a 40-minute Triple H segment at WrestleMania? Why do we need this? The show's too long as it is. Let's cut 2 hours off of WrestleMania or make it a 2-day show. We don't need a 7-hour WrestleMania with 40 minutes of Triple H 10 minutes for him to come out for his big entrance to inflate his ego. Give it to the other guys, the so-called, the great NXT guys. We are NXT. Give them an opportunity. Give Ricochet a spot. Give any of these guys a shot. Aleister Black, you name it. Why does Triple H need this spot at WrestleMania? Why do we need to see Triple H versus Batista again? I don't care if the build-up is good. And so far, it's not. They're having to rely on WCW 2000 to get people to care about this. Go back and watch WCW 2000. You guys watch it. Tell me if that was good TV. Was it entertaining? Yeah, but it was a complete train wreck, and this is the same thing. So I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite and say this stuff is great and then say the WCW stuff was terrible. The WCW stuff was terrible, and this is terrible. So there you go. That is my rant. I'm going to post this on Twitter. I want every person that called me out on Twitter to watch this video, and I want your rebuttal. I'll even come on here on Skype. Anybody who wants to debate me about this, I'll come on Skype. We can have a discussion about it. You can tell me to my face why you think Triple H and Batista is this work of genius and why I need to give it a chance. So that is that. The Relaxing Noob with the $2 super chat says, know what? Keep ranting because you're spitting facts. Well, thank you for that. Caleb Jacobs with a $4 super chat says, fighting with my family was good. Off topic, sorry. I really do want to see that movie, but I do need to actually be able to see it with somebody because I don't want to go to an empty movie theater. And they may not even have that movie in theaters for much longer. All right. So that was my rant. Got that out of the way. And that might not be the last rant of this Raw review. So let's get moving here. We may just be warming up with the rants tonight. I would like to go with Caitlyn. If I could go with her, I would. But unfortunately, not in the same vicinity right now. So next we had Stephanie McMahon announce that Becky Lynch's suspension has been lifted. And if Becky agrees to sign a hold harmless agreement, which basically means that Becky signs a document that says if she gets hurt, it's not WWE's responsibility and she can't be sued. Straight out of 1997 with Steve Austin, by the way, Virtue. More Stone Cold Becky Lynch. If Becky agrees to sign the document, then it's going to be Charlotte and Becky for the now vacant Raw Women's Championship. So at this part of the show, it looked like, okay, Ronda is done. She's been stripped of the title, it's vacant, and Becky and Charlotte are going to sign a deal for a Raw Women's title match. And by the way, they're on SmackDown. So anyone find this funny that we have the SmackDown superstars Becky Lynch and Charlotte fighting for the Raw Women's title? Okay. And, of course, Kevin Owens is from Raw, and he's fighting for the WWE title on SmackDown. Whatever. Oh My God Ruler with a $2 super chat says, Stephanie Face, also you missed me and two of Tony's super chats. Oh, crap. I apologize for that. I must have been so worked up with that rant that I just missed them. Let me try to go back and see if I can catch those. I don't know what's up with Stephanie. I guess she's a face now. It's like every week she's a different role. And I had to hear her music this week. Tony H with the $2 super chat from earlier said, the reason is the sheep will buy whatever WWE sells. Thank you for that, Tony H. I appreciate that. And that's pretty much the way it is. WWE has a very loyal fan base. And granted, I'm part of that fan base because I'm still talking about it every week. I'm still here regardless of the quality of the show. There are fans that will support it. And to be fair, there's some people that enjoy it. And there's some people that haven't been watching for 20 years, so they haven't seen everything. So to be fair to some people out there, this stuff may come off as fresh. They may be like, oh, I was only like 4 years old when Triple H fought Batista. So to me, this is really cool. I get it. But for me and for a lot of other fans, there are older fans out there. it's boring. It's lazy writing, and it lacks creativity, and it's relying on nostalgia instead of relying on your current guys and letting them have the spotlight. Oh my God says, I never seen this side of you before, Aaron. Like it. Well, thank you for that. Tony Braden with a $2 super chat says, Aaron is the new Heisenberg, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Or to quote Ronda Rousey, no more Mrs. Nice Bitch. But I'll get to that here in a few minutes. Let me see if I can catch up here with the comments. This might be the most wound up I've ever been on NoDQ Live, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't, well then, again, you can kiss my white butt. Tony Braden with a $2 super chat says, you missed my chat from earlier. To LOL, great rant. Well, hopefully I got back to something, but I appreciate it, Tony H. I really do. All right, back to the review. Thankfully, I have my voice this week, because if I tried to do this 2 weeks ago, it would have just been a complete disaster. All right, so we had Roman Reigns talking to Dean Ambrose backstage. Dean really wasn't willing to commit to the Shield, said he has to focus on his match, and then took off. And then we had, actually I may lose my voice again when this is all done. So we had Heavy Machinery pretty much destroy the lower card Raw tag team division. Heavy Machinery beat the B team, they beat Ascension, and then they beat Hawkins and Ryder. So yeah, Heavy Machinery getting a big push right now. How long will it last? Will they even be on television in 3 months? You have to keep tuning into Raw to find out. Not much else to say about it. Otis is doing the worm, which one of the announcers referred to as the worm. Imagine if I was doing these reviews back during 1999 and 2000. Could you imagine doing a review of WCW Nitro live every week? Oh man, this would have just been, you would have seen this times 10 every single week. I mean, those WCW shows were so bad. I mean, there's a good reason WCW went out of business. WWE will not, because they're a monopoly and they're the dominant brand, and they know how to brand themselves better than WCW did. But booking-wise, I mean, WWE sometimes does some really stupid shit. And tonight was definitely one of those nights where I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Pretty much from start to finish. So next week we have Triple H and Batista in their big face-off. So hopefully that will be decent. We'll see how that goes. I mean, I like Batista. I'm not knocking Batista. I'd rather see Batista versus Roman Reigns. I'd rather see Batista versus Brock Lesnar. I just want to see something new. I have no desire to see Triple H wrestle again. I really don't. So I don't care if their promo's good. I still don't want to see the match. Mike B with a $2 super chat says, you missed my last super chat, Mr. Rift. Well, I apologize for that, Mike B. These are going so quickly, too. All the comments here. I'll try to be better about it. Usually I can see them light up so I can catch them. I haven't even gotten to the SNL segment with Braun Strowman yet, so we're not even at that point yet. So let me get to that here in a few minutes. If you enjoyed this video, by the way, please share it. That would be very helpful, because I would like people to hear this, even if they think I'm a complete goof. You know, I'd like my my efforts to go noticed at least. So we had the SNL guys. Here we go. So they're walking in the backstage area, and I guess the joke is that the white guy doesn't follow WWE. So he's talking about characters from the 1980s. So why would WWE script this? Script the SNL guy to not even be familiar with the current product. Not something I would do. I would not bury my own product on my own show. That's just me, though. Then they walked past EC3, and EC3 was cleaning his mirror. So that was the only thing we saw from EC3 on this entire show. And then we saw Titus O'Neil show up and give those guys props. And then we had No Way Jose come out with his conga line. So yeah, RIP EC3, I guess. I mean, looks like WWE pretty much just gave up on him. So sucks to be EC3. Don't know what else to say about him. So we had a Tori Wilson video package, and I want to give credit to WrestleVotes for breaking this story about Tori Wilson going into the Hall of Fame. WWE likes to give credit to all these media outlets, which is stupid in itself, because how would WWE not know who's going into their Hall of Fame? Why does WWE need ESPN to tell them who's going into the Hall of Fame? So it doesn't even make sense. But yeah, anyways, it was WrestleVotes that broke it several days ago. So props to WrestleVotes. Charlotte did a backstage promo, and thank you, Darren G, for sharing. Tori Wilson in the Hall of Fame, I mean, it is what it is. I'll talk about that more maybe tomorrow. I think, I've been ranting a lot tonight, so maybe I'll give more of my thoughts on the Hall of Fame on tomorrow's NoDQ Live and give you guys something to look forward to for tomorrow night. So Seth Rollins talked with Dean Ambrose, and I guess now Seth is totally cool with I just screwed that up. Seth is totally cool with Dean, despite everything that happened, because Roman Reigns said life is short. So Seth is like, well, yeah, you're right, life is short. So now they're cool. Seth said that brothers fight, but the fact is, when they're together, they are wrestling soulmates. And Seth wanted them to have one more match, one more time together. Dean basically said no can do. He's got to take care of things on his own for now, and that was the segment. Then we had Elias come out and sing his song. You know how I know I'm in Philly, because there's no Stanley Cup anywhere to be found. Crowd booed, of course. And then he made a bunch of sports references that I did not get. I barely got the Stanley Cup one. Basically, he just insulted Philadelphia. Heel 101, bad guy 101, as Triple H would say. We had Dean Ambrose versus Elias. Ambrose was selling the guitar shot from earlier. He was trying to climb the top rope, but was having trouble. And then he even said, "Aw, shit," which got censored on my version, but I did see the uncensored version of it. Ambrose finally got up to the top, jumped off. Elias caught him with a knee and then hit the drift away to pick up the victory. After the match, Reigns and Rollins came out, and then we had a commercial break. When the commercial break came back, Rollins said that they got one more shot to do this the right way. Ambrose pushed them aside. He left. He started walking up the stairs through the crowd. And that's when we had Baron Corbin and his crew come out. The Corbin crew, I guess that's what I'll call them. They don't have a name, so I'll just call them the Corbin crew. Corbin said they're going to end things now, so they got in the ring. It was a 3-on-2 beatdown, and that's when Ambrose decided to come out and help the Shield, help Rollins and Reigns out. The comeback was made, and then it was the three of them in the ring. There was this long tease. Ambrose was like just walking back and forth, pacing back and forth. Rollins and Reigns stuck out their fists. Crowd was chanting "Shield, Shield." And then finally, after this hesitation, Ambrose finally stuck his fist down with them for the Shield salute. And there you have it. The Shield reunited once again. This was well done. I'm not going to complain about everything on Raw. This was well done. I like this little moment here where Dean finally stuck his fist out and did the Shield salute. So good stuff here. This was good. But then it got weird again. So here we go. Michael Cole mentioned on commentary that Dean Ambrose has chosen not to renew his WWE contract. And then Renee was like, the Shield running one last time before Dean moves on to greener pastures. And then Graves was like, greener pastures? Renee, this is WWE. This was really bizarre. I don't remember the last time WWE did something like this. Again, this feels like something out of WCW 2000. They're announcing that Dean Ambrose is leaving, and then Renee is saying that he's going off to greener pastures, which would indicate Dean going to AEW or something like that. This is something WWE would have never done 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. So this was quite strange, and makes you think that this is a work, that Dean is in fact staying with WWE. But still, why would you even announce this on TV that Dean is leaving and going to greener pastures? So bizarre to me. So we had Tamina versus Sasha Banks. Not much to say about this. Tamina picked up the victory with help from Nia Jax, and I guess we're supposed to think that Tamina and Nia Jax have a chance of winning, which I don't, but, you know, this is pretty standard. This is booking 101. You want to have the challengers pick up some momentum for the pay-per-view, so whatever. I mean, no real issues, just... I mean, I think it would have been better if Nia won last week and then Tamina won this week, but whatever. I mean, either way, I don't see Nia Jax and Tamina winning the titles. So then, okay, here we go. Here we go. So we had another backstage segment with the Saturday Night Live guys, and the white guy was saying something about how he's not afraid of Braun Strowman, and the black guy was like, I gotta go use the bathroom, and the white guy wanted to go use the bathroom with him. Ha ha ha, this was hilarious, right? When the black guy left, Strowman confronted the white guy, and then the white guy was trying to, you know, puff his chest and act all brave, and he's like, is this stuff even real? And that's when Strowman started choking the guy, lifted him up and was choking him. This was like a parody, I guess, of Dr. D. David Schultz from 1984 when he slapped that reporter. I think his name was John Stossel, for asking him if wrestling was fake. Actually didn't ask him. He just said, I think this is fake. And then Schultz slapped the taste out of his mouth. Go watch it if you haven't seen it before. So anyways, Strowman was choking this guy for asking him if this stuff is even real. We had a commercial break, and then when the commercial came back, Strowman was still choking this guy. So apparently he was choking him during the entire commercial break, and then Strowman lets go, walks away, and then the white guy acted like nothing even happened. He's like, oh, that wasn't so bad, or something like that, but he basically no-sold Strowman, almost killing him. Like the guy should have crapped his pants or something. Like, what? This was just the worst. And then the black guy started making jokes like, well, maybe you should have come to the bathroom with me. This was so bad. This was, so far, this was the worst segment on WWE television. You could not have killed Braun Strowman anymore. You just totally take away the mystique of this guy who tipped over ambulances and did all these crazy things, and he just lets this guy go. He's choking him for like 3 minutes because we had the commercial break, and then the guy doesn't even sell it and act like anything serious happened when it was over. What? This just ruined Strowman. It's done. Strowman's done. I can't take the guy seriously now after this. And these guys are going to be at WrestleMania too. Maybe they're going to team up with Braun Strowman, and that's going to be the payoff to this. I mean, granted, Curtis Butler, I agree with you. His mystique was killed by Brock back in 2017. But yeah, this... Ugh. Dustin with a $5 super chat says, Vampiro versus Sting, graveyard fight for WrestleMania, or Shane Douglas versus Kidman, Viagra on a pole match. WCW 2000-2001, the best of times. How about that Vampiro Sting graveyard fight? Yeah, that was something else. How about that Human Torch match between Sting and Vampiro? Although I gotta say, Judy Bagwell on a forklift might have been my favorite one. All right, so now we had the Revival versus Bobby Roode and, or not Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. I'm getting ahead of myself. The Revival versus Ricochet and Aleister Black. The champions, the Revival, the Raw Tag Team Champions, pretty much got no entrance, just a brief snippet of their music in the ring. But of course, Ricochet and Aleister Black got their full entrances. We had Chad Gable and Bobby Roode come out to watch the match. They were apparently upset because there's the no more rematch clause in WWE. Of course, Shane and The Miz get their rematch, you know. Vince's son can get a rematch for the title, whatever. We had Roode and Gable interfere in the match when Ricochet and Aleister were on the verge of winning. So we had a DQ here. And then I guess Bobby Roode and Chad Gable are heels now. I don't know. But they sabotaged the match, and then they got in the faces of Ricochet and Aleister. A little fight broke out. Aleister and Ricochet got the best of them, and then Aleister and Ricochet did this really cool sequence where Aleister did his thing where he does the backflip and Ricochet does his flip, and they both landed together at the same time. It looked really cool. You know, these guys are great gymnastics people. They're awesome. They're great gymnasts. You got to check out that clip if you haven't seen it. Like, it's great stuff. All right, so now we had the main event segment. Stephanie McMahon came out. I had to hear her music, so you know what that means. I got to bring the raw letter grade down a little bit. And yes, it's my video, my stream, so my rules. Every time I hear Stephanie's music, raw letter grade goes down. You know, if it's a plus, then it goes to no plus or minus. And if it's no plus or minus, it goes to a minus. And if it's a minus, it goes to a plus. The next letter grade down. All right, so we had Becky and Charlotte come out. Becky signed the agreement, the whole harness, whatever it's called, agreement. I don't even know what it's called. And then she said that she was willing to fight Charlotte right there because she already beat her on one leg at the Royal Rumble. Josh Mansfield with a $2 super chat says, Virtue is Charlotte's bitch. It's a hold hardness agreement. I don't know if kayfabe's being serious or not. It's something like that. I don't know. I don't care. I've never heard anybody outside of WWE ever use that phrase anyways. So who knows if it's even legit. Some weird ass phrase. Why not just say she has to sign a waiver that she can't sue WWE if she gets hurt? Just keep it simple. Why use some weird ass term? So Becky wanted to fight right there. She signed the agreement. And then we had Ronda Rousey, all piss and vinegar, storm to the ring. She started talking really fast again. I missed like half the things she said. She's just basically said she's done pretending. She got booed at Staples Center in her hometown. She's not a dancing monkey. She's not going to be Mrs. Nice Bitch anymore. And then she proceeded to beat the crap out of Becky Lynch. Charlotte just stood back and watched because, hey, she's already got the WrestleMania spot. Becky has to beat Charlotte at Fastlane to be added to the match at Fastlane. I just got ahead of myself here. I forgot to say Ronda came out and first she said that she never vacated the title. So Stephanie was like, oh, okay. And then she handed her the title back. So, all right. I'm glad Stephanie figured that out. Wouldn't she figure this out before Raw goes on the air, or once a decision is made, it's final? I don't know. When they talk about this the entire week, call each other on the phone or something? I don't know. This was dumb. But anyways, Ronda beat up Becky. Not a lot of crowd heat. I mean, people were booing, but not as much as you would think. Like, I felt like there could have been way more heat for this than there was. I feel like this was a heel turn from Ronda. I mean, they're going to boo her anyways against Becky. So, yeah, I guess it's a heel turn. Yeah, there wasn't much heat for this, which is surprising because it was in Philadelphia. I mean, a lot of people feel that this was just all over the place and that WWE did a poor job of getting to the direction we knew they were going to go in all along. But anyways, Becky beat her up and then stood there and, was just taunting the fans, I guess. I don't know. She had her foot over Becky's head. And then we had Stephanie backstage. She cut her own little promo and said that Ronda showed her true colors tonight. So yeah, I guess Stephanie's a babyface now. You got me. Alex Pershing with a $5 super chat says, Becky wins the Rumble but has to earn her spot back. And if Becky wins, Charlotte stays regardless. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. And Stephanie's a babyface now? Where was Vince? Was it the tease on SmackDown that Vince was going to give Charlotte the title? See, that would have made more sense. You'd have Vince there with the title. He's going to give it to Charlotte, and then Ronda comes out and says, no, I never gave up the title. You don't say the title's been vacated, and then Ronda comes out and says, no, it hasn't been vacated. This doesn't make any sense. Like, how would this happen in real life? It wouldn't. So then we had Stephanie rant about Ronda, saying that Ronda's going to get what she has coming to her at WrestleMania, whether it's against Charlotte one-on-one or if it's a triple threat with Becky. Yeah. And then the final way to end this show, we had Ronda Rousey standing there with the title, but she wasn't holding up the title. And then you could loudly hear the cameraman or somebody say, Ronda, hold up the title. And at that point, Ronda on cue held up the title. And that was the end of Raw. Holy shit. What the hell was this show this week? Did they literally just write this show the day of? I mean, they had to, right? This is not something that could have been written a week in advance because they teased Vince being on the show on SmackDown. And he wasn't there. For fuck's sake. I don't even know what to grade this show. Because I'm intrigued by it, but my head is just pounding. Like, I'm watching this show and I'm literally just getting a migraine from it. I wasn't bored by Raw. I'd rather have a just off the rails, complete train wreck of a show than a boring show. And at least I got something to talk about here. But still, I don't even know what to say about this show. I really don't. I don't know what letter grade to give it. Virtue says I should give it an I for incomplete. Curtis Butler gives it a C-. CC Drink with a C-. Kev Dog with a D-. Noah with a D. Ken Terminated by Google, F for Riffs F-Bomb. Lars with a D. Anthony with a B. Michael Wayne with a D. Harley with a D+. Emmanuel with an F-. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to give this show letter grade wise. I really don't. It's one of those times where I am at just a loss for words. Josh Mansfield with a $2 super chat says, Raw got me pumped for Fastlane and our predictions video. Well, Josh Mansfield, thank you for that. And hopefully we get you on for the Fastlane predictions video. That should be pretty interesting. And I'm sure the other guys will have their opinions about what happened on Raw this week. Man, I don't know. I really don't know about this one. I'm just not going to grade this week because I don't know what to say about it. I really don't. It's one of those times like I said a lot, but when it comes to a letter grade, I'm just at a loss. Aaron Anderson with a $2 super chat says, need some aspirin. I do need some aspirin. I very much have a migraine right now. I don't know. I am gonna give it a letter grade. I'm gonna give it a C-, which might be generous because I gotta look at it from my own entertainment value. And I was entertained. I wasn't bored with Raw, but I feel like a lot of it was a mess. So Noah says too generous. Probably. Again, I feel like sometimes I need to just be in the shut up and enjoy it mindset. So whatever. I'm going to give it a C minus. Because like I said, to me, a worse Raw would be a boring show. This show was interesting. Maybe, like Virtue says, we still talk about WCW 2000. So at least it was memorable. This was a memorable Raw. Maybe not for the right reasons, but, you know, I'll remember the show for a while. So I'll give it a C minus, okay? Caleb Jacobs with a $5 super chat says, I need some Advil. As do I. I could definitely go for some Advil right now or something. Ooh, that was definitely the most interesting No DQ Live in quite a while. And now you guys got some watching material. Go back and watch some WCW 2000. Go ahead and watch New Blood Rising from 2000. Virtue says you're cutting into my game time before bed. Well, sorry, Virtue. But anyways, I will be back tomorrow night. I'm sure SmackDown Live will be a better show. It almost always is. Cutting into Caitlin's time too, so I really got to go here. Thank you guys so much for watching, by the way. How long did we go? Almost 60 minutes. Holy cow. All right, I'm going to sign off here. Thank you guys. I really appreciate your viewership. I hope you enjoyed the video. If not, it is what it is. I'm just here to do my job the best I can. Sometimes I give a good review. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just give a WTF review. Like, I don't know what to say about the show. Tonight was one of those nights. So thank you all. Have a great night. Stay positive. Love your life.